What's up, everybody out there in 420 land? This is the co-host of Two Stone Dudes Podcast, Ryan Castle. The Anchor app is where I got my start, and it's been amazing being a podcast host so far because of Anchor. Let me explain. It's the easiest way to make a podcast for free. That's right, it's free. Anchor then distributes your podcast to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and so many more. And I won't forget about the creation tools that allow you to edit your podcast from your phone or your PC. And you can get paid with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make your very own podcast. Download the free app or go to anchor.fm. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your co-host of Two Stone Dudes Podcast, Ryan Castle, saying that I am in the studio by myself. Actually recording this remotely from the first studio that we had that was taking place in my home. So basically it's being done by my phone and a microphone. Hopefully the audio came out well. I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast. We'll be back shortly with another podcast, another episode soon this week. Stay on the lookout for that. Also, if you have any questions or you want to be on the podcast, feel free to contact us at twostonedudespodcast0311@gmail.com. That's how to get a hold of us. Or if you want to text us, feel free to call 623-216-3839. Text 623-216-3839. Text out first podcast and then type your message so I know what it's for. So thank you and enjoy this podcast. It was a pleasure having DJ on the show, and it was a great podcast, and I enjoyed it. So hopefully you guys will too. Thanks.
The weak have remedies, the wise have joys. Superior wisdom is superior bliss. Some people pass from birth to death with both feet firmly planted on the sunny side of life. Such are the healthy-minded among us. These fortunate individuals are innately predisposed to joy and optimism and experience life as one long celebration. Or as William James observed, there are men and women who seem to have started in life with a bottle or two of champagne inscribed to their credit. But for others, the goodness of life does not flow so naturally. Instead of instinctively bathing in optimism and joy, some people are of a more morbid-minded bent, and thus predisposed to view life through a darker lens. We are like lambs playing in the field, observed the philosopher Schopenhauer, while the butcher eyes them and selects first one and then another. For in our good days, we do not know what calamity fate at this very moment has in store for us. Sickness, persecution, impoverishment, mutilation, loss of sight, madness, death, and so on. When our mind is morbid, it is blind to joy, and so, if we are predisposed to morbid-mindedness, we must counterbalance this darkness with more joy. For as the writer Robert Louis Stevenson noted, to miss the joy is to miss all. In this video, we are going to explore 3 simple joy-promoting strategies we can use to reinvigorate our life. When dark thoughts fog the mind, it is easy to believe we are trapped in a labyrinth, and that a Herculean effort of will is the only means of escape. But this belief neglects the fact that emotions follow actions, that moods reflect surroundings, and that a shift from gloom to joy can be effectuated by engaging in an activity so undemanding that many downplay its therapeutic value. This activity is simply to set aside consistent time to immerse ourselves in the regenerative realms of nature, free from the influence of technology. There can be no very black melancholy for him who has his senses still and lives in the midst of nature, declared Henry David Thoreau. A wealth of studies within the field of ecotherapy have verified what lovers of nature have long known. Being in natural settings is a revitalizing force. The more time we spend in nature, the more we are blessed with reduced mental fatigue, heightened creativity, feelings of happiness, increased resilience to pain, diminished stress, and even a boosted immune system. The mountaineer John Muir, aptly nicknamed John of the Mountains, was no stranger to nature's ability to infuse us with new life, and as he wrote, "Climb the mountains and get their good tidings. nature's peace will flow into you as sunshine flows into trees. The winds will blow their own freshness into you, and the storms their energy, while cares will drop off like autumn leaves. As age comes on, one source of enjoyment after another is closed, but nature's sources never fail. If our ability to explore nature outside the walls of our city is limited, we should scout out the serene pockets of nature hidden within the concrete jungle, as even spending time in a city park confers some of the joy-promoting benefits associated with being in the wild. In the presence of nature, a wild delight runs through the man, in spite of real sorrows, noted Ralph Waldo Emerson. Nature says, "He is my creature, and in spite of all his impertinent griefs, he shall be glad with me." Along with drinking abundantly from the springs of joy that flow forth from nature, another strategy to promote joy is to instigate a subtle change in the way we see the world. Specifically, we can take a page out of the mystic's playbook and learn to extract joy from our experiences of the so-called ordinary and mundane. To see a world in a grain of sand, and a heaven in a wildflower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. The mystic is typically thought of as the individual who, through years of disciplined meditation and other spiritual exercises, has transcended to a higher level of consciousness, pierced the veils of illusion, and attained unity with the universe or God. But from a more down-to-earth perspective, the mystic can be viewed as the individual who has such sharpened sensibilities that he or she is able to see brilliance and beauty in the commonplace and derive immense joy from sights, sounds, and experiences of everyday life. The mystic, in other words, has come to understand that if joy is to be found, then it must be found in what is present and imminent at hand. You must live in the present, launch yourself on every wave, find your eternity in each moment. Fools stand on their island of opportunities and look toward another land. There is no other land. There is no other life but this. To see life through mystic eyes and find joy in our immediate surroundings, we must awaken to the unfathomable mystery of it all. If we are scientifically inclined, we can facilitate this awakening by contemplating the staggering complexity of life and appreciating how each living thing is a world in and of itself and simultaneously an infinitesimal part of a much greater whole. A universe of atoms, an atom in the universe. If we are aesthetically inclined, we can will ourselves to see the beauty hidden in plain sight in every nook and cranny of the natural world. None of nature's landscapes are ugly, so long as they are wild. If we are philosophically inclined, we can reflect on the question of why there is something rather than nothing, and given that there is something, why it is this, and not something else. Not only that anything should be, but that this very thing should be, is mysterious. The greater our sensitivity to the mysteries all around us, the more our eyes will open to what the philosopher Martin Heidegger referred to as the wonder that this world is worlding around us at all, that there are beings rather than nothing, that things are, and we ourselves are in their midst, that we ourselves are, and yet barely know who we are, and barely know that we do not know all this. With our eyes open to the wonder show of the world, we will be more attuned to joy and more capable of deriving happiness and bliss from everyday experiences. We may even find ourselves unwittingly following in the footsteps of Ralph Waldo Emerson, one of the preeminent mystic philosophers, and at times suddenly discover that we are overflowed with joy for no apparent reason at all. In his book Nature, Emerson described one of his mystical experiences of this type. Crossing a bare common, in snow puddles, at twilight, under a clouded sky, without having in my thoughts any occurrence of special good fortune, I have enjoyed a perfect exhilaration. I am glad to the brink of fear. Spending more time in nature and cultivating our mystic sensibilities are two effective joy-promoting strategies. But these strategies can prove futile if our morbidness becomes so excessive that we adopt what William James called the dust and ashes state of mind. This mindset is defined by the dreadful suspicion that evil and futility lurk behind all experiences, and that the greatest goods of life are rotten with a worm at the core. James was no stranger to this mindset, and as a young man he confessed in a letter to his brother, "I cannot bring myself, as so many seem able to do, to blink the evil out of sight and gloss it over." In his book The Varieties of Religious Experience, James wrote the following about this morbid state of mind. "Make the human being's sensitiveness a little greater, carry him a little farther over the misery threshold, and the good quality of the successful moments themselves when they occur is spoiled and vitiated. All natural goods perish, riches take wings, fame is a breath, love is a cheat, youth and health and pleasure vanish. Can things whose end is always dust and disappointment be the real goods which our souls require? Back of everything is the great specter of universal death, the all-encompassing blackness." Fortunately, there is a joy-promoting antidote to this dust and ashes form of morbid-mindedness, and it is to go on what James called a moral holiday. On such a holiday, we do not go anywhere physically. We simply stop caring any longer. We let go of our burdens, relax, and grant our conscience a rest. We relinquish the struggle with our morbid thoughts and emotions and, in the words of James, become genuinely indifferent as to what becomes of it all. James cites numerous anecdotes and studies which vouch for the efficacy of this approach, the wisdom of which is captured in the parable of a man who found himself at night slipping down the side of a precipice. At last he caught a branch which stopped his fall, and remained clinging to it in misery for hours. But finally his fingers had to loose their hold, and with a despairing farewell to life, he let himself drop. He fell just 6 inches. If he had given up the struggle earlier, his agony would have been spared. In Varieties of Religious Experience, James explains in psychological terms why taking a moral holiday can stimulate a reaffirmation of life. There are only 2 ways in which it is possible to get rid of anger, worry, fear, despair, or other undesirable affections. One is that an opposite affection should overpoweringly break over us, and the other is by getting so exhausted with the struggle that we have to stop. So we drop down, give up, and don't care any longer. Our emotional brain centers strike work, and we lapse into a temporary apathy. Now there is documentary proof that this state of temporary exhaustion not infrequently forms part of the conversion into a more joyous state. One passes from the everlasting no to the everlasting yes through a center of indifference. The French-Algerian philosopher Albert Camus wrote that to decide whether life is worth living is to answer the fundamental question of philosophy. Everything else is child's play. We must first of all answer the question. For the healthy-minded, who experience life as one long celebration, this question is answered with a resounding yes. But for the morbid-minded, the answer is not so clear. Melancholy and the dark thoughts that accompany it can send one down gloomy paths that lead to questions of the value of existence. But the truth is that life is always worth living so long as there is the possibility of experiencing joy. Even brief and infrequent moments of joy have the power to justify life, liberate us from the weight of our past, and grant us the affirmative strength to carry on in spite of hardship and suffering. One joy scatters 100 griefs, as the ancient Chinese proverb put it, or as Nietzsche wrote. If we affirm one single moment, we thus affirm not only ourselves, but all existence. If our soul has trembled with happiness and sounded like a harp string just once, all eternity was needed to produce this one event, and in this single moment of affirmation, all eternity was called good, redeemed, justified, and affirmed. Seekers of joy we should thus become, for if we miss the joy, what else is there?
Welcome, everyone, to the next episode of the Two Stone Dudes Podcast. This is a co-host, Ryan Castle, and today I am alone. I am quarantined away from my boys, Mondo and Robin Nod and Kevin will not be with me today. My girlfriend got the COVID, and we all went and got tested, and so yeah, it's just me and DJ from Talkyoshitpodcast. Which I love the name, number one. I gotta tell you that right off the bat. The name is fucking awesome. How did you come up with the name for it?
I came up with the name literally just playing around, we was just, me and my friends, we were just playing around, one day, and we were just talking some real shit, because this is maybe probably around 2017, 18. I was playing football and stuff like that, so it was just other things were interesting me, just because I come from not a environment where where you think outside like that, think outside, wanting to do a podcast and wanting to talk about issues and real shit, you know what I'm saying, that people go through, and be honest about not being perfect. Right. So it's just me just coming up with that, man, just sitting on that for maybe good 2-3 years. Wow. Just pondering with that, and just really just one day one of my friends said some shit, man, you talking that shit. Yeah, yeah, you talking that shit, because I was mad about something, and I was kind of explaining the situation, man, you talking real facts, you talking real shit, and I'm just I put the two and two together, and you gotta talk your shit podcast.
That's fucking awesome. That's fucking awesome. I got nothing else to say about that. That's fucking awesome. All right, man. I'm gonna start on this on the format here. Sorry, I went off right quick.
No, that's fine.
Where are you from, and where do you live now?
I am from Florida, Orlando, Florida. I live in Minnesota, St. Paul, Minnesota right now. So
okay.
Yeah.
And how old are you?
I'm 26.
What did you want it to be when you grew up, when you were little?
I wanted to be just a professional athlete, just because that was the thing. That was the thing to do. Especially a boy coming from where I come from in Florida, it's just something to do. And plus, I was always taller than everyone. I'm huge. I'm 6'8", so it's just
You're fucking 6'8"? Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm 6'8".
Damn.
I'm 6'8". Yeah, I'm 6'8". So yeah, just stuff like that. It's just I was kind of made to play a sport, but I always thought outside of, sports and everything. I just thought different from everybody.
You can make a mint as a professional wrestler. You know that, right? Being 6'8".
I know people been telling me, man, I need to go ahead and start doing wrestling.
How much do you weigh?
I'm about 350 right now.
How much?
Maybe 350, 320.
You're 320 pounds and you're 6'8". If you go and try out, if you go and get trained by a real wrestling trainer, which they have them in Minnesota, I know they do for a fact, and you don't go get trained by somebody that's a shitbag, dude, you'll make it to the WWE.
Oh yeah, I'm already
being that big.
I do security. I do personal securities and stuff. So.
And you're athletic, right?
Yeah, I'm athletic. I was a 3-star athlete in high school. I played college. Won a couple accolades. Conference championships and stuff. So I was just yeah.
Bro, if I knew how to do it, I'd be your agent. I have no idea how to do that shit, so I can't offer you services I don't know how to do. But I would definitely be your agent. Somebody should jump on that opportunity. Hopefully somebody hears it and finds you. Shit.
Hey, I hope somebody does, man. But we will see.
That'd be fucking awesome. Somebody hears you through our podcast. Yeah, that'd be.
Yeah, most definitely. And I'm live. I'm on Facebook Live. I'm on a podcast group chat right now.
Okay, all right. What do you do for a living?
I do personal securities. I work for private parties, when stars come into the city, for basketball, hockey, and stuff like that. When they after the games or before the games, or they're just here for a week, I do making sure that that they have everything they need as far as when they come into the cities, as far as when they go out or something.
Have you ever got a chance to do government detail?
I have not.
That's where the money's at.
You
know that, right?
Like that.
That's where that money's at. The government detail.
Yeah, I hear.
I'm telling you. All right, man. Let's get into your podcast. So the name of your podcast is Talkyoshitpodcast.
Mm-hmm.
And you started it. How long ago did you start it?
As far as it being up and running,
yeah.
and
when did you post your first episode?
My first episode was around. It was around when quarantine started, maybe before, if I'm not mistaken, because I did like a food for thought, like it was like a little short episode with some music, me just talking over an instrumental, just expressing food for thoughts. I think it started either earlier. I'm not really sure. I gotta go look. Probably around 2018, 2019.
Okay, it's like around March, you figure?
Yeah. Okay. Around or maybe before.
All right, and what's it mainly about?
It's mainly about, how you say, it's like, it's unorthodox. So it's like, it could be anything. It's more organic than anything. But it's like, we come off the dome most of the time, but we do have situations that we do talk about as far as, that we were talking about, as far as when we link up and we actually sit down and actually talk about things and how we feeling and what we're going to talk about as far as on the episode. So it's just like, we don't really get off topics, just everything just comes organic. We may have maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 topics to talk about during the whole podcast, but other than that, everything's organic.
Nice.
But the thing is more about comedy, laughter. You hear the struggle when you listen to our podcast. It's just like you hear the situations that we go through in our personal life, or we talk about, and then we just laugh the shit out because it's just like, man, it's life because we're still here, we're still living. You know what I'm saying? We still have another day to record and do something that somebody else isn't doing.
Right. All right. How can people listen to your podcast?
I'm on Apple Music. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Google Podcasts. I am on Anchor. Shout out to Anchor. They actually, I'm in the talks with them right now. I'm trying to get something with monetization, and because I do clothing, I want to do something with their clothing brands, just because I feel like Anchor needs to get out there more.
Oh yeah, I agree. Totally agree.
As far as like podcasters, like really giving us an olive branch to do more. As far as like, setting up, making sure that we have like our logos if we ever want to go get on YouTube or something like that. Just evolving with the times. Just because like I understand people majority listen to audio, but it would be great to get like an Anchor sponsor to do something with like YouTube and stuff like that.
Do you know what Spreaker is?
Huh?
Do you know what Spreaker is?
Yeah, I heard about it.
Yeah, Spreaker will put you on YouTube.
Yeah, I heard about it. I just been, just organically, just really just getting on because I just heard about it. Really.
Right. Nice, man. So it's just you and one other person. What's his name?
Taiwan Brown.
Nice. And you guys gelled together. How did you guys come together to do it?
Well, it really was four. It was originally 4, but it's just like, I feel like the 4 that was really on it, they're still on it, but it's just like, they had to learn how to do this, like how to really just pot on this, because me and him, we didn't really have the idea until, the crazy thing about this is, we talked about this probably about around 2015 when we were playing football together. But the thing is, we was just talking about it, like, we didn't really take it serious at the time. But the thing is, just like, he actually did mention it to me first. And I actually recall him mentioning, like, podcasts and stuff. So it was just like, when that happened, and I actually wanted to actually do podcasts, and kind of like, dang, I mean, Taiwan was telling me about podcasts, yada, yada, yada. And then we ended up linking again and talking to each other. And then we all just, it just marinated like gumbo, I say. Like, but then the other two friends that I had, shout out to Kev, shout out to Terry, shout out to Hillary. The people they're still on it, obviously, but it's just like they had to understand, like, with the talking and stuff like that. I was doing most of the work basically.
Right.
You know, just coming up with ideas. Always got to talk first. You can hear it. You can hear the growth in our podcast if you go listen to episode 1 to now. So it's just like you can hear like, okay, he was talking first, like really, 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 but now he's not talking much because he has the codes that can bounce off and do the same thing that he was doing. So it's just like you can hear the growth. You can hear us be like, okay, he's not talking too much. You know what I'm saying? They're not bouncing off confusion. You know what I'm saying? Where like you can't even hear the whole conversation.
Right.
It was something like that, but it's just like we just had to grow as you know, our own individuals. We all gonna come back to circle one day and do a whole episode. Maybe around season 3, but season 2 is just me and talking on right now.
Okay, all right. You gotta have I gotta tell you, it's me and like 4 other guys, and I know a couple of us would be available if you have us on your show. I don't know how many of us, but I know a couple of us would be. And you're gonna get what you get from us. You're gonna get a couple of ripped up stoners. So just giving you a heads up on that.
Look, I'm an active stoner. I'm an active stoner.
We just led me into my next category here, which is cannabis.
And that concludes. Let me go ahead and spark it up while you ask the next question.
Nice. All right. So you obviously support the use of MMJ. Okay. All right. What are your thoughts on the bill that may or may not pass to legalize cannabis?
You say the bill that may not pass it?
May or may not. Yeah, because it's at the Senate.
I want them to pass it.
Okay. All right. You'd be amazed. There's some people that don't want it to pass.
Why not?
Well, there are people that have that shit ingrained in them that cannabis is bad, of course. Believe it or not, you get some growers that don't want it to pass because they make more money. They make more money illegally than they do legally.
Do we not understand that the U.S. government put cocaine in America?
Right.
It's just like, why wouldn't you want to pass something that's helping people and actually keeping a motherfucker from snapping and doing all kind of crazy shit? Like, but the thing is, just like, and it helps, what do I say? It helps our soldiers. I had a coach, man, about a football coach. He went over to Afghanistan. Like, he had whatever that shit is.
PTSD.
Yeah, PTSD, all that crazy shit, like going up at night, pulling his gun and shit like that. But he fell in love with weed, and then he didn't do none of that shit. Now he's married. He's in Thailand, living his life. Great. It's just like, but the thing is, he had to understand the benefits of weed because he was so against it at the time.
Right.
But us being football players, he found out one of the teammates smoked and took the weed and actually tried it. And it changed his life. Now look at him. He's happy. He's more happier. He doesn't panic. He doesn't wake up in the nights in cold sweats and all kind of crazy shit, doing all kind of crazy shit because he said he was on the verge of killing himself and his wife. So it's just like, yeah.
I'm a vet as well, and I feel that man's pain. And I can tell you from personal experience that if it wasn't for weed, I'd probably be in jail right now.
Right.
No shit.
Right. And it's just like, you could actually take a story and be like, damn, we actually kind of, you know what I'm saying, like took the edge off to where I don't have to, do something crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Completely.
Because everybody ain't perfect mentally because therapy is important.
Right, and I have to point out that weed isn't for everybody. It could be, but fortunately, some people, not everybody's built the same. We're all not bioengineered the right way. Some people just have bad reactions like they do to every other drug in the world. So, it's really at your own risk, and if you have a bad reaction, don't do it anymore. If you don't, and you're happy with it, keep fucking going, right?
Right, and don't choose to do weed just because somebody else is doing it.
Right. So, all right, man, I'm gonna jump into conspiracy theories. Do you believe in them?
To a certain extent. I mean, hey, the Simpsons proved a lot of shit this year.
Dude,
last year.
That's the freakiest fucking thing in the world, man. Are you there?
Yep.
All right, that's the freakiest shit in the world. The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Last year, they were just showing all the crazy shits, like the comparisons, and like how everything's going right now. It's crazy.
Yeah, definitely. Who do you think killed JFK?
Hmm. To be honest, who did kill JFK? Like, what was the? How did he die again?
Well, the guy accused of killing him was a man named Lee Harvey Oswald.
Yeah, Lee Harvey Osborn. But it was with the sniper, right?
It was with an old Italian army rifle.
Old Italian army rifle.
He shot him from a book depository across the street.
Okay, so if you don't think it was him, who do you think it was? I mean, are you asking who ordered it?
I have several different theories that I get bounced off me at once, so it could be any one of them.
Well, give me one.
I just don't think it was him.
See if we. Give me one. So
I don't think it's him because of right how he looked. Right, there was a show that had him on it right before he was shot and killed by a man named Jack Ruby, and it was it was the news obviously, and the look on his face was not that of a man who was guilty. A guy who's guilty and knows he's caught had a completely different demeanor than somebody who's panicked and doesn't know what the fuck is going on and is being told what is going on and then is freaking the fuck out. That's how Lee Harvey Oswald looked when they showed him on camera. So that's why I don't think it's him. But that's my own take on it. Who do you think really runs the world?
Well, in my opinion, y'all gotta, well, not even y'all, I'll just say Americans and humans gotta, people that live in the United States have to realize, people that run this world, y'all gotta understand we came from a time where America was getting built and everything was slavery and all this shit and then everything evolved. So you gotta understand, who's controlling all this money?
Right.
Like back then. And you think just because they were controlling money, you think their offsprings don't have like how you say a pamphlet or a portfolio to this shit?
Oh, yeah.
So you gotta understand, the people who's in charge of these top ranked slavery owners and all these people of higher power that had power over them, y'all gotta understand, man, those people that rule the world. Then the people that you can't even, they might be walking right by you. You know what I'm saying? Just a normal day. That might be them. You never know who they are.
Right. Do you believe in the Illuminati?
Certain extent.
Okay. All right. Let's jump into miscellaneous stuff.
Okay.
Are you a pro wrestling fan?
Of course.
Nice. Who's your favorite wrestler?
My favorite wrestlers, because I can't choose. I can't choose because that was just, I say I can't choose because that was just a great era.
Okay.
Wrestling, when wrestling was at its peak, when it had Eddie Guerrero, Kane, Triple H, the DX generation, Shawn Michaels, you know, and I could even go back to when I first started getting into wrestling with Ric Flair and Stone Cold, The Rock. So it's just like my top ones, it had to be Undertaker and I'll say my favorite one to watch, Eddie Guerrero.
Nice. Do you watch AEW right now?
No.
No? Oh man, you gotta check it out sometime.
It's just like man, I glanced at it once in a few times, but it's just like some of the superstars' names is just like kind of like you need another name. It's just like all the originals like names are taken, so it's like I don't want to watch like some crazy ass name, but then they come out with all this crazy shit. But it's for the kids though.
Right. All right. What is your favorite TV show?
My favorite TV show as of lately has been Power, the Power Book 2.
Okay.
And talking about, have you ever seen Power?
No, tell me about it.
All right, so Power is basically like telling the story of a guy that coming from the gutter of in the city. Basically, he ended up like climbing his way to the top, and he was selling drugs and stuff. But the thing is, he has the opportunity to get out. He has the opportunity to get out of the drug game. He meets his childhood sweetheart. Found out she's a fed. Yeah, it's all kind of twisted shit. Then it ties into his family because he already has a family. He already has children, has a wife, and then he starts sleeping with the childhood sweetheart, and then all type of shit going on because she's a fed. Huh. It's a bunch of drama.
Nice. All right, where's it on?
It's on Stars, 50 Cent show.
Okay.
If you ever heard it.
All
yeah,
right,
check it out. It's a good show, and that's one of the shows. My second favorite show is Snowfall. That comes out in February. Season 4.
Where's that?
It's on Hulu.
Okay.
So if you got Hulu, check out Snowfall.
I do. I got Hulu and I got Stars. I'm going to check out both of those. Thank
you
for the recommendation.
Check out both of them, man. Go ahead, binge watch. Go ahead.
Thank you. Appreciate that shit. I'm almost through, what do you call it? The fuck is the name of the goddamn show I'm on right now? Try to remember the name of it. Supernatural. I'm on Supernatural right now.
Yeah, I fuck with Supernatural.
So, all right. What's your favorite food?
What's my favorite food right now? Chicken. Anything chicken. Anything chicken.
Dude,
I don't eat.
Popeye's chicken sandwich. Have you had it yet?
Yes, I have. I had both of them.
All right. What's the big fucking deal?
All right, listen. It's not really a big deal. It's really just the sauce of the sandwich. But
so it's that delicious?
It's good. It's delicious. But don't get the plain. Get the spicy.
Okay. All right. Worth the money then. All right.
Yeah, cool. Get the spicy one. Just don't get the plain one because it's just like you're gonna waste your time. Just like you just eating chicken. That's no flavor.
All right, man. Ice cream, gelato, or frozen yogurt?
I'm gonna have to go with ice cream.
Okay, why?
I mean, gelato is good, but it's just too the texture. It get kind of boring, and plus gelato melts too quick.
Yeah, it does.
And it's just like now you gotta drink it.
All right. Now, this is my favorite part of the podcast, man. Tell me about your happiest memory.
I say when I first left Florida for college. I ended up going to North Carolina. And really because I played basketball and stuff, but shit, it was like I would go to them states, but we would never go in the city because we'll have a game the next day. So it's just like I was in other cities like Tennessee. We went to New York. We went to New Jersey and stuff like that. But it's just like we stayed in the hotel because we couldn't get out of the hotel because we usually get there the day before or 2 days before a game every other time. So it's like there's no time to even go in the city to even sport. Yeah, so it's like I've been to other states, but it's like I've never really been inside the states. So it's cool.
Bro, my advice to you is travel as much as you can.
Most definitely.
I've been all over the place, man, because I was a pro wrestler and I was in the Marine Corps and I got to do a bunch of cool shit. And I got to go all over the country. I got to go all over the world, and I wouldn't change it for anything, man. First chance you get to do that, do it. Travel as often as you can and have as much fun as you can while you do it.
Yeah, after I been in North Carolina, I started to travel more. Like then going to North Dakota for school, then I ended up coming to Minnesota. You know what I'm saying? So it's like I've went to Washington for my 21st birthday.
What made you stay in Minnesota?
Because I'm a bouncer and be I don't know, it's just like, man, why go back? I go back to bullshit.
Right. Well,
you know what I'm saying? It's just like shit. I was at a point where I was like, it's either here or back at the crib, and it's just like, if you back at the crib, I know what I'm gonna fall into, which is bullshit. I can't focus at the crib, so it's just like all type of bullshit going on. Like where you just fall into the cracks, just by nature,
right? Just
by your associations, just by who you hang out with. Just because you gotta understand, just being in the environment of your peers, and it's just like you ain't gonna never make it with your peers just because you grew up with it. You know what I'm saying? So it just happened like that.
Right. Well, DJ, thank you so much, man. I really hold on the line before I hang up on you, but I just want to say thank you so much for being on this podcast. I really appreciate it. I know my listeners are gonna love your podcast when they listen to it, and I hope yours listen to ours, man. This is a good cross promotion, and it made a lot of sense to do it, and I really appreciate it, bro.
Most definitely, you can do it anytime, and I'll do the same for you.
All right, man. All right, well, hold on to the line. I'll say a proper goodbye to you.
All right, man.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned for the next segment.
Smoking on a vaporizer, eyes red, blazed up, smoked out, I'm tired of smoke. We got the supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, the type of weed that leave you breathless and flowless. So take it, totes, and another, so your mother, oh no. You know the key click, yeah, we got the bomb weed.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for enjoying this episode of Two Stone Dudes Podcast. We'll be back shortly this week, and hopefully we'll be back in the studio. Just for now, I'm in quarantine from the rest of the guys, and I hope they all enjoy the podcast. So thank you once again for joining in, and listen up for Talkyoshitpodcast. Thanks. Bye.